Okay, so if you're like, who is this stranger on the internet trying to tell me how to glow up? Here is my portfolio of proof. I am honestly a bloody shapeshifter at this point. I have transformed my face and body completely naturally multiple times during my life. I've gone through multiple glow up journeys and gone through a lot of lessons and mistakes. And today I'm going to share it all with you so that you can achieve the results I got in a much shorter time frame. And in 12 months, you can transform yourself to become the hottest, most confident, most attractive, most abundant, magnetic, and happiest version of yourself. And this video is going to be a step-by-step guide on how you can do that. So let's get into it. Okay, so on our journey on transforming ourselves, the very first thing you're going to tell yourself is this is a 12-month commitment. It might not take you 12 months. It might take you 3 months. It might take you 6 months. It might take you the whole 12 months. But if you tell yourself that no matter how many times I fall off track, for the next 12 months, I'm going to come back, because we're going to be setting some goals today, that no matter what, you're going to come back, then within the 12 months, you would have very likely achieved that goal. Because guess what? Identity shifts take time. And this is why people don't change. This is why people don't change, because they try to do a new habit. They make a commitment to themselves, New Year's resolutions. I'm going to go to the gym this many times. I'm maybe not going to eat as much processed foods. I'm going to implement better loving thoughts. And you do it for maybe a few days, maybe even a few weeks. But guess what? The old ways of being that you had, you've built that for years. And when your new ways of being, your new habits, don't become a part of your identity in a few weeks, you think this isn't going to work for me. That's what most people do. That's what I've done multiple times. I've had many, many, many bad habits. And I realized actually every time I wanted to build a new habit, it actually took me months. It took me months for it to become an actual part of my identity, right? Because if you take a look at your brain, look, I don't know how to draw a brain, okay? I don't know. Let's just say that's your brain. This is your brain. In your brain, there are all of these neurological networks. And every time you have a thought, every time you have a feeling, every time you take an action, every time you've built a habit, there are neurons firing in your brain that are creating these neurological networks. So your brain is a product of your past. It's a product. It's everything that's come up. Your brain can only be a product of the past. It's every past thought you've had, every past action you've had. These have cemented into your neurological networks, and these are very, very, very strong. Say you've 100 times in a row, you said you were going to go to the gym, but you didn't. You didn't go to the gym. Instead, you chose to stay at home and you chose to relax. Now you've strengthened that neurological network. Okay, say that's 100 times. This is going to be very strong. You've stacked proof towards this neurological network that I'm not someone who goes to the gym. And then say you try to build a new habit. Okay, I'm going to start going to the gym, and you do it 5 times. But eventually your brain's going to bring you back. Your brain is a combination of every past habit, and that is familiar to you. That is what is known to you, and that is what is going to keep you safe. And so to transform yourself, it literally takes time. To shift your identity, what it's going to take is you're going to need to build new neurological networks like this. You're going to need to build new neurological networks, and your brain is going to fight you for it, because when you're building a new brain, it's actually a death of your old self. And I want you to really understand, your brain is the most powerful thing on the planet. You have access to the most powerful thing on the planet, and most humans will spend their whole lives literally using 5% of its capacity. But you have the most powerful thing on the planet, and its number one job is to keep you safe. It's to keep you the same, because when you stay the same, you are safe, because you're doing things that are known to you, right? So that's why changing hurts so much. Your brain is fighting you to stay the same, because if you don't stay the same, it's a death of your old self. You're creating a whole new version of yourself, and that is why it hurts. So we're going to make this 12-month commitment, because you are going to fall off track. Your brain is going to trick you into thinking that you can't do it. But if you wake up every day, even if you fell off track the day before, even if you fell off track for a whole week, and you remind yourself, and I'm going to be giving you loads of steps on how to do this, but you remind yourself, no, I made this commitment for 12 months. I'm going to get back on it. Within the 12 months, you would have shifted your identity. And that's exactly what I noticed for myself. every new habit, even a small one, like I want to start being really mindful when I'm eating my meals and chewing really slowly. It took me months from when I decided I wanted to do that to kept going back into my old ways of eating, not being mindful, eating really fast, chewing really fast, to now where months later, I'm actually in a place where it feels it's part of my identity now. I'm someone who sits and I eat slowly and I eat calmly, and it feels unnatural to eat the old way. But it took me months of going back and forth, because it's a death of your old self. It's rewiring new networks to take over the old one. And that's what we're going to get into now. So step one, I want you to actually get a pen and a piece of paper. Get your journal if you have one, and write out one goal. Your main goal. What is the most important thing to you for the next 12 months that you want to achieve? And don't worry about all the little things like I want to become hot, I want to walk these many steps, I want to make more money, I want a better relationship. Just write out one goal so you don't overwhelm yourself. It's really important to put pen to paper. It's really important to sit with ourselves and write these things down, because it is literally, when you put pen to paper, it is going to be an instruction going into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind will start to try to find solutions and opportunities for you. Okay, so write out your goals. So for the purpose of this video, and you can use this blueprint that I'm going to give you for any goal that you have, any transformation you want in your life, a career transformation, a relationship transformation, making more money transformation. But for the purpose of this video, we are going to do, my goal is to become the most attractive. Guys, look, my handwriting isn't my strong suit, okay? But I'm saying what I'm writing, so you'll know what I'm saying. You'll know what I'm writing. Become the most attractive version of myself. That is the goal. That is the overarching goal for the next 12 months. And when I say this, become the most attractive version of myself, I mean literally the most joyful, abundant, magnetic, happiest version of yourself, okay? Because the best version of yourself is the hottest version of yourself, and there's no shame in wanting to become more attractive and more hot. But as we're going to go into later, it's the journey of becoming the best version of yourself, becoming the most attractive version of yourself, is literally all about how you feel about on the inside. Your goal is become the most attractive version of yourself. Maybe someone else would have a goal. I want to make 10K in income per month, or I want 10K Instagram followers. This is what goals tend to be, right? They tend to be rooted in the external. That's what they all have in common. They're all rooted in the materialistic world. They're rooted in the 3D. They're rooted outside of us. I want to become more attractive. I want to have more money. I want to have a better relationship. It's all things that are outside of us. And so when we think about it's totally, we've got to have goals like this, because we do live in a material 3D world. But something which was pretty life-changing to understand is the only reason you have any of these goals is because deep down, even subconsciously, a lot of us aren't aware of it, is you want these things because you are chasing the feeling it's going to give you. For the purpose of this video, I want you to really connect to why you want these things. I want you to connect to, do I want to become the most attractive version of myself because I have this deep desire to make the most of my life and become, go through this character development and become a really happy, joyful person because I'm fed up with who I am today, because I never follow through on the things I say I'm going to do. I know that it's going to make me happy to become a better version of myself. Or is it because I want to become more attractive, I want to make more money, I want more followers, because then I will feel approved of by others? For most of us, there's a deep-rooted belief that usually stems from childhood that we adopted, thinking that if I get all of these things outside of me, then I will finally be accepted by others, and I will finally be good enough, and I will finally be worthy. And I don't want you to fall into that trap. So I really want you to sit down and journal on this, because I went through this. I went through this glow up. You guys saw the pictures. I went through this glow up, and it was all purely for external validation. And that journey I had to go through like 5 years of healing from that, mentally and physically, honestly. I had to go through a lot of healing because of the people, the bad, toxic people I attracted in my life, the values that I had adopted from constantly craving that external validation. It's a very dangerous path to go down, okay? But the path we're going to be talking about today is about getting these things whilst not losing yourself, whilst becoming the best version of yourself. Okay, so step 2. This is very important. We haven't even got to the good part, guys, so stick with me here, yeah? Just stick with me. The good part is coming. So the step 2 is to journal on your new self. You only have to do this once. You only have to do this once, but it is extremely important that you sit down with yourself and you really identify how this version of you acts. Okay, I've created a whole free guide with all of these journaling prompts. What would she do? How would she act? How does she handle stress? What are her habits? What does she do for fun? What are her boundaries? You know, I want you to really connect with her. What are her daily habits? What does she do when she gets up every morning? Just script on it. Just script on it. How does she feel about herself? How does she talk about herself? If you're having a huge breakout, how does she talk about herself? Does she look in the mirror? And this is real life scenario with me. After years and years of being extremely insecure and not wanting to go outside, being so scared people were judging me on my skin, I just had one of the worst breakouts. You can't tell right now, but I did have a really bad breakout a few weeks ago. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I don't care. I don't care what anyone thinks. I love you. I'm proud of you. And I know you're going to heal so, so fast. And I just love you so much. Okay, so you got to literally think to yourself, how would she act? What is that? Well, how would you feel if you were her? You know, you can get the full guide in the description box and you can either print it out. It's very important to put pen to paper. If you don't have a printer, just write out the questions in your journal and just script on it. It's very important to connect to that feeling of her because the purpose of this activity is I want you to know what it feels like to be her. And then every day you're going to connect to that feeling. So in the moments where you told yourself you were going to do something, or you're finding something really hard, you don't want to follow through with it, literally just ask yourself. You know, I was in a Pilates class the other day and it was really hard and I just wanted to stop and take a break. And that's totally fine as well. But I just connected to that feeling of her. I was like, would she stop right now? No, she's so strong. She's toned, she's strong. She loves the pain. And it helped me. It helped me so much to push through. And it's all about connecting to that feeling. You know, what would she do? Would she lie in bed every night and scroll on her phone for hours and mess up her sleep? Would she do that? Would she say, no, I don't want to go for a walk when she's been sitting on her ass all day at home? Would she do that? How does she act every day? I need you to really connect pen to paper and script it out. And this is not about being perfect as well, okay? Life is all about balance. And to become the best version of yourself, it's not about being perfect. It's not about having perfect eating habits, perfect wellness habits. Oh, hell no. Like, I love fried chicken and I will never deny myself fried chicken. Do I have it every day? No. Do I have it every week? No, but maybe once every 2 weeks, you know? And I enjoy it. I never feel guilty about it. I enjoy a bit of chocolate every day. This is not about being perfect, okay? But that's what we're gonna be talking about in the next stage. So step 3, now that you've scripted on your new self, exactly how she acts, what she's like, and you're going to have balance in this, remember, yeah? Because you don't want it to be completely unrealistic, this person who's completely perfect all the time. No, it's just about having much better habits than you are having now, which is going to help you get the transformation you want, to become that more attractive version of yourself, the more confident version of yourself. So step 3, you've scripted on your new self. You know how she acts, you know how she behaves, you know what her thought patterns are like, what she thinks, how she talks to herself, what her actions are, what her habits are. Now I want you to script on your old self, your current self. What are the behaviors, the actions, so behaviors, actions, habits, and thought patterns that your current self has? You got to identify it. Because then when it's happening, when you're in that moment and your old self is sucking you back in, it doesn't want to die, it's trying to bring you back in, then you can identify it. You have 2 columns in your journal, the behaviors and actions and habits and thought patterns of your old self and the behaviors, actions, thought patterns of your new self. The most important thing is you need to know when you self-sabotage. You need to know how this old version of you, this current self of you thinks. You've got to identify it. You've got to sit with yourself and connect with yourself and understand yourself. Life is literally just a mind game. Your brain, this is going to be a battle now between your old self and your new self. Your old self's going to come in and tell you it doesn't want to do it. It's tired. It doesn't, it's not possible. It's going to give you anxiety. It's going to give you self-doubt. It's going to give you fear. Most people don't realize bravery just looks like fear. Bravery a lot of the time is just disguised as fear. Is that right? I saw a quote which was like, I really liked, but I might have just said it completely wrong. Bravery is basically, yeah, fear takes over when you're trying to be brave, okay? So fear and bravery go hand in hand. So a lot of times when you're trying to be brave with your new actions, the fear will come over, which is just your old self trying to keep you the same. This is the most important part. This is when the video is going to get really good, okay? This is now how you are going to implement it and how you are going to stick with it for the next 12 months or however long it takes you to shift your identity. Let's get into it. So how do you stay consistent? And this is going to wrap up everything that we've talked about. I need you to just focus on being 1% better than your old self. You are only in competition with yourself yesterday, with yourself last week, with yourself last month. If you don't go to the gym at all, you order 5 takeaways a week, obviously it's me exaggerating, maybe you're vaping, maybe you have these habits which aren't good for you, and then you say, from tomorrow, I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to walk 10,000 steps a day. I'm going to eat really healthy and clean. I'm going to never smoke again. You're just setting yourself up for failure. And this is why we've decided to do this transformation over 12 months, because identity shifts are going to take time. And so to set yourself up for success, you just need to try to be a little bit better than you were last week. Maybe if you're walking 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day, you want to start aiming for 5,000 steps a day for the next 2-3 weeks. When that becomes normal, then you want to start aiming for 6,000 steps and trying to find what works for you. Always be listening to yourself. Always connect to your body. Don't stay rigid in your routine. Especially as women, we need to connect to where we are in our cycle. We need to connect to how we're feeling every day. We're not men. We're not men that have a 24-hour hormone cycle, wake up, testosterone rises, and we could have the same routine every single day. So on this journey, it's really important to give yourself time and to connect to what works for you, what feels good for you, what doesn't feel good for you, how can you push yourself. For the longest time, I've thought I couldn't push myself past 6,000 or 7,000 steps. I thought I was struggling with stress-related conditions. I didn't feel very stress resilient. I felt like if I did too much, put too much on myself, that it would make my health worse. But it was actually the opposite. My brain was tricking me to try to keep me safe, to try to keep me at home, to try to keep me the same. When I started pushing myself, I realized, hey, I'm still here. I'm absolutely fine. And that really helped to heal me. It helped me to become stronger. You're always aiming for progress over perfection. Do not try to be perfect. It's okay if you mess up. Don't give up because you messed up. You're giving yourself 12 months. Okay? The most important thing every day is to connect to her, the feeling of her. In those moments where you feel like you don't want to do something, connect to that feeling of her. And then when you do fall off track, it's fine. Just wake up the next day, give yourself a little pep talk, right? It's your old self telling you, oh, I can't do it, so we can't do it. But then that's your unconscious thoughts. That's your product, your brain, which is a product of the past, coming in and saying, see, like, we have to stay the same. We can't do it. It's scary. I don't like it. It's too hard. But then you can consciously come in with your new thoughts, your new self. How would she speak to herself? She would say, why can't I do it? Of course I can do it. Of course everything's going to work out for me. I already exist, honey. I already exist in a year from now, and you're just working your way towards me. It feels amazing like this. I know you can do it. I can do anything I set my mind to. This is just my old brain trying to keep me the same. It's not real. It's not real what it's telling me. It's my decision how I feel. Life is literally just about giving yourself a pep talk. Do you know how often I do that to myself? There's absolutely no reason for me to have built a business. I wasn't surrounded by entrepreneurs. I was working a typical 9-to-5 job in financial services. Nothing wrong with that, but I wasn't happy in that. I wanted to launch my own business and create my own products. And there's no one, I didn't have access to anyone that was doing that. There was absolutely no reason for me to believe in myself. But I would just have pep talks with myself. I'd be like, why can't I do it? If you look around, literally trillions of products have been existed. Everything that you see with your eyes was once an idea in someone's mind. Think about all of these people that are creating all these products. Why can't I do it? You know, I would just constantly debate with myself when my brain would go, how are you going to do it? You don't even know what to do. Always trying to control and stress and fear. I would come in and be like, no, why can't I do it? So you need to find what makes you feel better and give yourself those pep talks every single day, every single time the old brain is trying to keep you the same. And something that's really going to help you stick with it is connecting to a reason why. What is your reason why? Because just wanting to be hot, just wanting to look better, just wanting more money, it's all superficial. There's no really a reason why. You know, I think my mentor told me a long time ago that when you have more money, you can help more people. When you have just enough just for you to survive and get by, you're not really going to be able to give back. But if your reason for making a lot of money is because you want to give back and you want to help more people, that's a really amazing reason why. The more you have, the more you can give. You know, money is a super powerful tool. You can help so many people in your life. You can help so many strangers. You can help kids in developing countries. It's just endless. You have that power then. And same with wanting to transform yourself, wanting to become more attractive. Here's what I'm going to tell you now, which was the biggest game changer for me, which really helped me achieve my glow up in my 20s. After messing it up the first time around, the second time around, I realized that I shouldn't do it for external validation. No, glowing up and becoming attractive, that's just the destination. And what you're doing, you're trying to chase that feeling of happiness, right? You're trying to chase that feeling of feeling good enough. But that feeling of feeling good enough, that feeling of being happy that you think you're going to get when you get to the destination, it's actually not true. It's actually what you get from the journey. It's what you get from the journey. That happiness is not out of reach at all. Feeling joy is not out of reach at all. There's been many periods in my life where I truly disliked myself. The reason I disliked myself is because I had a really poor self-image. Why did I have a poor self-image? Because I would tell myself, I'm not gonna eat all of that junk food. I'm not gonna go buy a cake every day. I'm not gonna lie in my bed. I'm gonna go to the gym. And I would constantly betray myself. I wouldn't do it. And when you're constantly lying to yourself and you're betraying yourself, you really start to dislike yourself and you have a poor self-image, which means bad self-image equals no respect for yourself. You have no respect for yourself. Why would you respect someone? Imagine having a best friend that's always telling you, okay, I'll meet you here, doesn't show up. Okay, let's go do this, doesn't come. Oh, I'll do this for you, doesn't do it. Would they be your best friend for very long? No, you wouldn't keep a friend like that in your life. You would imagine your partner constantly lying to you, constantly breaking promises to you, constantly betraying you. You wouldn't keep them in your life. But you should be your number one fan in life. You should literally be your number one advocate, your number one person you're born with, the person you die with, the person who's going to be with you the whole way. Yet that is the relationship that matters the most. Yet you keep breaking promises to yourself. You know, the key to happiness is to be in a pursuit of a goal, which really is challenging, but makes you a better person overall. It's not the goal or the destination that's going to make you happy. It's the person you become along the way that's going to make you happy. And so achieving a goal, it's not just as simple as, oh, I'm going to go to the gym so that I can be fit. No, that's not motivating. That's not motivating in the long term. You're going to the gym because you made a promise to yourself. And then you're going to feel so good after that, right? Every day, you're either going to stack proof to your new self or your old self. That's basically it. Your new self is going to be the person who has a really high self-image, who can walk with her head held high because she knows, I'm the type of person that follows through on what I say I'm going to do. Do you think I want to? I actually don't. I don't want to get up and film a video. I have so much resistance to it. But then my new self reminds me that I feel so good. Every time I post it, I feel so proud of myself after. That my long-term goals are aligned with posting videos. Even if it doesn't go anywhere, the character development I'm going through this process of posting videos is something that's going to increase my self-image, increase the respect for myself. But every time you give in and you don't do it, you're stacking proof to your old self. You're giving your old self power. And in the beginning, it's hard. You know, it's hard because the old self is so powerful. The noises and the voices in your head are going to be so loud. But the more proof you stack to your new self, the voices here are going to get quieter. You're taking the energy away from them. Remember, your thoughts are energy. You're giving so much energy to your old self. Start giving yourself those pep talks. Start giving energy to your new self. Start connecting to that feeling of her every day. This is not about perfection. Remember, this is just about progress. Maybe you never go to the gym and then you start going 2 days a week. That's progress. Then maybe 2 months later, you can start making it three days a week. Maybe, you know, there's a time in my life where I was eating out a lot and it wasn't making me feel very good about myself. And it took me a few months, but now I'm in a really good routine of cooking at home, making sure I'm meal prepping. It took me a few months to get that though. And it takes time, but the most important thing is don't do it for the destination. That's just a byproduct. Making money, becoming more attractive, that's just a byproduct. You are going to get there. It's the person you become along the way, the one who respects yourself, the one who trusts yourself, the one who has confidence, the one who has a really high self-image. That is what's going to make you feel happy. That is what's going to make you feel fulfilled in life. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you are struggling with a puffy face, if you don't recognize yourself, that's literally where I was. I was struggling with high stress, puffy face, and these tools genuinely changed my life. I took the action every day to look after myself, to practice gua sha with this beautiful tool that I created, or facial reflexology, and it literally completely gave me the glow up I was looking for. That was the action I took for that glow up. These are practices I've been doing consistently for years, and there are entire videos on my YouTube channel with the full routine. And if you want these tools, I'll leave an exclusive discount code for you to use in the description box. Otherwise, I'm so excited for you. Let me know if you guys want a video on more like physical habits you can do to have a glow up and to become the most attractive version of yourself. Let me know in the comments any other videos you guys want to hear, and what habits you want to transform in the next 12 months. What's the most important habit you want to transform in the next 12 months? Otherwise, I'm so proud of you for being here and for wanting to become a better version of yourself. I know you can do it. I'm excited for you, and I'll see you in the next video.